Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I'm reviewing Incredibles 2. Now, this is a sequel to Incredibles 1, which came out about 14 years ago when the movie came out, which is quite some time. And Disney is, of course, continuing the trend of producing a sequel many, many long years after the original. Now, continuing on from the first Incredibles movie, I did kind of find this to be a bit underwhelming. While I liked many aspects of the movie, I found some of it just a bit more childlike for the younger audience. And surprisingly enough, they actually even have the same director and the same composer from the first movie, which was really good. And I think they had a clear stage set for them to make a great sequel, but I think some of the choices they made ended up making the movie fall a little bit shorter than I expected. Now, obviously, the first thing you'll notice about this movie is the animation. I mean, it's so much more advanced and clean, and thankfully, the characters and art style pretty much stays the same. Obviously, they have a bit more freedom to have more expressive and detailed movements, which is great, but I think it's just very well done, and it contributes a solid amount in terms of how much I like the movie. Now, I know I said I don't necessarily like how some things are too childlike about this movie, but honestly, what I liked most about the movie was the family side of things. I think that's really where it shines, to be honest. In the first one, it was a very superhero mission focused, with Helen and the kids as the secondary story. And in this movie, it feels flipped because I think we see a lot more of Bob at home trying to help his kids, and obviously they expand on Jack Jack using his powers, but I just like how hard Bob is trying, even though he feels jealous and disappointed that he isn't the one out there being a hero for his family. It was interesting and honestly fine having Helen be the one out there being the superhero of the movie, and I have nothing against that. But I just feel like for the superhero side of things, they didn't really convey a very interesting villain. I will admit, I think they had great action scenes in the movie, which was cool, but the screenslaver only really hypnotized some people a few times before they were caught. And while, yes, it was staged that it was just like a pizza delivery boy, it was still underwhelming and was clearly a very easy win for even an audience member to see. And then, of course, it was time for Disney to pull the card of, hey, here's a twist villain, which was kind of surprising. I mean, the character didn't really have a whole lot going on, and she wasn't really super present in the movie, so it was like a decent assumption. It's like when a character was not really super present in a Scooby Doo episode, and then it's like, wow, it was them? It's just like, come on, Disney.
You stop that!
The second part of the superhero stuff was making it legal to be a superhero again. I get that it would be a solid goal for the overall movie, but I think in a way they focused a bit too much on it, or focused on the wrong details. Like, it wasn't the most fun to hear about interviews and the politics of various events, and it definitely just tried to tie in with forcing a small group of new superheroes to be used for the villain's plan later on. I think trying a different villain and fleshing them out more like the first movie would be more interesting than what they did here. I think that the Parr family all got great scenes to further them as characters.
I want you back here by 10:30.
11-ish?
10-ish, heading for 9:30-ish.
10:30-ish it is.
Some of the Jack Jack stuff was a bit overdone, and I think they did a good job portraying like baby related things, but could have toned down on the powers. And we saw like a few of them in the first movie, which was kind of a cool tease for what he could have later on, but they didn't need over 15 powers. It was just a lot, to be honest.
Everyone's getting the sleep that they lack.
I think the movie has a decent ending where superheroes are illegal again and they can still fight crime as a family. That's kind of about it. As I mentioned before, I think the animation and soundtrack were pretty good, and the voice acting and characters were pretty well done. Except for the new superheroes and Screenslaver, to be honest. But I definitely think the family dynamics were the most enjoyable by far, and I found them honestly funny and pretty relatable. I'd say in general, I think it's a fun movie, but kind of decent as a sequel. Even over a decade's time and the same director, I really wish they could have done something a bit more incredible with it. I think if I were to give it a score, I'd give it like a 6 out of 10, and that might seem a little harsh, but I just feel like there were some things that maybe I didn't like as much as others did, and I didn't necessarily find the need for all of the baby jokes, and the villain was very underwhelming for me. But I definitely think the animation and the action scenes and all of the family interaction and dynamics is what really sells this for me for the most part. And I think that's where it honestly does the best. I hope you guys all enjoyed my review of Incredibles 2. If you did, feel free to like and subscribe down below. And I hope you guys look forward to more movie reviews in the future. But until then, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all later.